Hey guys, welcome back to the podcast. Today it's a little bit different. I didn't tell Jake what we're doing. I'm just coming in and I'm asking him questions. Okay, so he's a little nervous because
I'm a little scared of what you're going
I
for,
don't think
man.
he trusts. I don't think he trusts me. He doesn't think it's going to be a good podcast because it's in my hands. But I'm here to prove him wrong. That I am the founder and CEO.
No.
So let's get into this
Uh,
before he has something to say. Okay, so you want to be a coach, right? That's
yeah.
your goal. You want to be a coach at the highest level, right? So my first question to you would be what type of coaching style and philosophy would you have in the NBA
Okay.
and why?
Um, it's gonna be player based for the most part, personnel. I think that that's just the most successful way to do it. If you look across the board, coaches can't. Most successful coaches don't, especially offensively. You're not able to just go in and put in what you like on your pen and paper. Like that doesn't work, especially at that end of the floor. Like you need to know who you have, and also um I think defensively I'll definitely have more of a like staunchness and more like this is how I think we should play, how it'll work out. But like a lot of it'll turn into personnel because like say I got a 5 man that could switch, like, hey, like let's maybe try switching 1 through 5 and like try different things. Like maybe we got a small point guard. We're not gonna put him in switch situations. So like um there's just different things. I think a lot of it weighs on personnel from like an on floor standpoint, but off the floor, I want to be like a second dad. Like these are gonna be my guys. We're gonna go to battle. I want to be there for them. I really want me, my staff, the guys that play. I just want all of us to be tight. The stories that you hear about Popovich taking his guys out to dinner, like every road trip and stuff like that, to me is what it's all about. At the end of the day, it's more than just whatever happens on the floor. That's what basketball is, though. Like it's just a way for us, like people to unite and yeah, we love it. And like, hey, like I go crazy for X's and O's and I go crazy for schemes and philosophies and stuff. But at the end of the day, it's just a game that brings people together. And that's what I'd want to do with it. Just have me build relationships with my guys and my staff and have friends for life through it.
Yeah, we'll get a little bit. I have a few more questions about like what you said, like beyond basketball at the end there. Like I'll ask them later on, but to keep it with on court stuff, what kind of players would you want in your system?
If I was like a GM, are you saying like if I'm putting a team
Like
together?
not like names, like don't pick names, but like what type of players to fit how you would want to play like perfectly.
So for me defensively, it'll be a lot of pressure. It'll be a lot of I like the icing schemes. I like really pushing guys to a direction, forcing the offense to be uncomfortable. The more I could switch, it'll make it easier too because there's no busted coverages if you're able to switch. If somebody is able to get over an ice on the side, like you're going to be able to switch that either with the next or the guy that's in the like icing, like the drop. Um, so I definitely want a bigger point guard. Could I go like player type? Like if I had to,
Yeah, just
so I would want a Spencer Dinwiddie esque point guard, like a bigger guard that offensively is more of a playmaker and facilitator, but I could also get it to him to do inverted offense. Um, I would hope to have a wing that could score that I could run a lot through. So one like real like scoring oriented, like I'm gonna be able to get my own bucket. Um, a 3 and D wing, a stretch 4, 3 and D 4, like and a 5 man. I don't care how tall you are. I just need somebody that'll play defense, rebound, run the floor, and if you can stretch it, that's an addition. And the more flexible you are defensively, that's even better. Um, so I would say if I could have like two Mikal Bridges, and Paul George, and at at the five like a I'll say like a Jonas Valanciunas, even though he's not that switchable, but a physical bruiser that's gonna really set the tone defensively.
I was expecting you to say a Bam Adebayo there.
Yeah, yeah, bam, even better, bam, yeah, even better.
Along with that, what kind of culture would you want to build with the
Culture.
team? Yeah, I know you already brought up like relationships, how you want to.
I wanted to be a family man. I want
Yeah,
everyone to have each other's back. We're gonna go in. We're gonna work our butts off when we're in there. We're gonna genuinely take it to heart. We're gonna be on the floor, defensive minded, tight knit group. Offensively, we're gonna move the ball, play together. Um, but off the floor, I just want an environment where everybody's comfortable, happy, uh, everybody feels good to come to me, come to anyone on the staff. Hey, be like, hey, like, can I get up shots? Hey, I'm not happy about this. Hey, what could I do? Hey, like, my dog got hurt. Like, I want to know. Like, I want to be a friend. Like, but there's also that professional line also where. Hey, we gotta come in and get our work done. But at the end of the day, it's more about the person than the player. That's where I want that to be well understood.
yeah. So you've been around a lot of, like, you've been around college basketball. You've talked to a lot of NBA guys. Maybe not head coaches, but we're
I've
getting there.
dabbled,
Yeah.
not dead coach, but
What are some big things that you've learned from them that you have used kind of to say? That's like, I don't know how to word it exactly, but you know what I mean?
for future reference, like lessons,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
um, work your butt off. That's for everyone. Like it's a hard thing to get into. Uh, you need to be able to. From my perspective, that's all I can do right now is just work, get better, learn something new every day, just continue to develop. Try new things, put yourself out there. That's probably another one. Just always be willing and open minded. Um, to new ideas, to new ways of doing things, to just even like you were my workout dummy. Like you know how I am. If I see something cool, hear something cool, read something that I think's interesting, like I would have you like I'd throw it into a workout. Like I would try it and just I think that that's kind of the exciting part because you always have someone making something new or even like me and my three packs like I kind of came up with that like you know what I mean but like some people don't
One
like
time every workout.
it's a great you get 3 game shots and then you gotta make all three. That's pretty much a 3 pack. It doesn't count unless if you make all three.
Not complex.
It's not complex at all, but I just haven't seen that before and I thought it was really cool like just throwing it together at one point. um or maybe I saw it on Instagram. I'm really thinking now. uh But yeah, that's what I mean though. Like I'll be able to see these things anywhere and just like to be open minded and willing to try it and adapt um and lastly, that's a good question. Being in a locker room and being around the guys, I know how I want my environment to be. Um to have that family thing that I was talking about, to genuinely like I know how the vibe in a locker room feels when things are high and when things are low. And I just want an even keeled, content, and comfortable vibe. And I feel like if you could have that toward the happy end, where like, hey, we're going to be brothers, we're going to fight each other sometimes, we're going to maybe not be that happy at times, but at the end of the day, you know that everyone in this locker room and organization has your back and we're here for you. And it's more than what's happening on the floor. I want that to genuinely like just being around and understanding locker room dynamics and stuff and knowing what guys how different personalities act and like how they translate to the floor and how they translate back to just relationships between each other just to understand and be able to allow the guys and the staff to build bonds that there is that comfort level that I keep bringing up. But yeah, I'll go with those three. That
Okay.
was a good question. I like that one.
This probably should have been asked in the beginning, but I just thought of it. When did you know you wanted to be a coach? And yeah, I'll just ask that part first. I'll ask them both. Sorry. When did you know you wanted to be a coach, and what intrigued you that much? Like, what intrigued you to want to be that? I can't speak.
So when did I want to be a coach and why?
And what intrigues you about it? Yeah, basically.
Um, so when I had to have been a sophomore in high school.
Oh, really?
I
That
knew
early?
I knew long term I wanted to get into it. I'd be sitting in chem class drawing up plays in my tablet.
I remember you saying that.
Our teacher would hand out so test days she would hand out like these like scrap papers, and I would draw plays on them when I finished my test. And then I she saw it one time and she was like, "Do you even use this?" And I'm like, "No, I have fun after." But I knew I was probably a sophomore in high school. Yeah. My season playing wise, I knew that I was playing well, but I ended hurt, and I was also on JV as a sophomore, and I was a little scared that it wasn't going to be a possible thing to play like long term. Uh, and then I get the opportunity to go to IMG. I play probably the best basketball of my life for 2 months, and then God kind of took it. Like he was like, "Hey, you're meant for something else, not to do this." And I just know it had to have been around the game, and I made a decision to become a manager, and I'm I can't regret it. Like my I played, I understand like what it means to be a pretty good play. I'm not even gonna say pretty good, a decent basketball player. I I was able to always like from a playing perspective, I always felt like I was like a couple steps ahead, which I think kind of translates because like even I was a film junkie as a sophomore. Like I'd be on YouTube like hunting down anything, any games, any quarters, any 4 minute stretches I could find. Always hated highlight tapes, but that's besides the point. Um, just I think the main thing that intrigued me was just I love the game and I love helping people. So it felt like the best of both worlds. You actually were a big reason that made me figure it out more because I was able to give you workouts and like see you develop and like feel like I was actually kind of a part of it. And it was probably one of the more eye-opening things. It's a I think coaching is a really good thing if you love a sport or love just have a passion or drive for something that you could help other people pursue. Um, it's an awesome route.
To go back with that film, uh, you've always been told that you have a great IQ with the game. Um, seltzer water,
Yeah.
terrible. Okay, sorry. You've always been told that you've had a great IQ with the game. When you're watching film, what are the things that you're looking at?
That's tough. Depends on the day. Depends on the game.
I know you were saying defensively. Yeah,
A
you're
lot of it
thinking.
turns into defense. Yeah, a lot of it turns defense. I don't mean for it to happen, but it happens.
No, tell them what type of player you were, though.
Oh, think of like a smaller Draymond Green. That was me. Like
Defensive.
I might not have been the most laterally quick individual on the planet, but I would work my butt off to make you uncomfortable, stay in front a little bit. I was big time like those 2 months I was talking about, like it was I think I had like 6 charges, 6 or 7 charges, and I annoyed people, but at the same time I was like a playmaker offensively. Like I was legitimately like our initiator, but I was that's what my comp would have to have been, like a smaller, less athletic Draymond Green. That's um but uh don't say like I don't know what else, like what other comp would I have?
No, you're right. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I always used to call you.
Yeah. Um but when I watch film, so there's levels to it. So first of all, player wise, a lot of it turns tendency. Um, unless if I'm trying to pick up on a skill. So like say like this is a little foreshadowing. So CJ snaking a pick and roll. Like say like hey, like he does that a lot. He does it at a high level. So I'll try to like I'll keep pausing it, I'll slow it down, rewind, and just see like, okay, this is how he's making contact with the guy. Oh, look at his footwork. Oh, look at where he has the ball when he picks it up. Like the little tiny things. And then tendency wise, I really like so these college games started and that one dude at Duke, everybody talking about. Um
Hollow, number one pick.
I watched 4 minutes and the dude every time he touched the ball jabbed, and I'm just like, guys, like that is that even like at this point, like everyone on the base, like on the bench should be like, hey, like he's gonna just jab on the catch, like stay low, stay like solid on defense 1-on-1, don't fall for it. And to me, it's like I feel player wise, like tendencies are pretty easy to pick up on. Like you see I can't think of an example off the top of my head, but
You already gave two.
I did give two. Uh,
You did.
but just knowing what guys like getting to, even just like who's a ball mover, like watching the Cavs, you know that Chetty Osman, for example, if he's not wide open, he's not taking one more than two dribbles, and he's going to move the ball. He's not going to try to force something unless if it's like once every 20 times that he does it, you know? Um, that's another pretty like I think like yeah, that's it for players. I just don't you put me on the spot with that one.
I know.
From a
I
team
was
perspective,
trying to
um
make it simple.
offensively, I really like watching more like the flow offense. I watch basically like NBA exclusively. I want to start trying to watch more EuroLeague, but from a flow standpoint, it's more like so say Minnesota when they have 3 men on like a 3 man side and a 2 man action going on, they typically 45 or it's a rim cut with the middle guy in the action on the spacing. So you see that for like the first quarter ish, every time that there's a paint touch, that guy's coming. So like little tendencies like that. Chicago does a really good job with banana or baselines when on a drive, which is really it's a tough cut to hit, but it's a good one because it screws up the tag. Um, I really like the flows. A lot of it's off ball movement. Really try to see because a lot of it turns into tendency. So once things repeat, it kind of like it just becomes easy for me to pick up on, and it's like, oh, I see why that works. Oh, I see why they're doing that. Phoenix does a great job screening off the ball. They did a really good job last year cutting off of it. I think this year they're like adapting it a little bit and turning it more into we're gonna Moser screen down or we'll flare up, and it's a tough guard if that's on the weak side on a 2 man side. That's really tough, and the ball's coming your way. It's a tough ask. Defensively, I've been diving in recently into the next man. Just because so many teams are dropping. So it's like everybody's over and dropping. And then the next man activity is something that I just want to see if teams are beginning to utilize more. And a lot of teams are, where they're really loading up the nail, making it hard for you to get there. But to go back to your question, instead of getting in the weeds, offensively, I like seeing how different teams operate in their flow situations and like how different teams utilize their personnel to get them in space to create. Um, an example would be Seth Curry and the Sixers, how they use him. They get him in spots where he can get downhill and he can get open threes. So it's like pretty simple actions like Iversons and floppies and stuff like that. But and then defensively, it's more so style, I guess is the right word to say, because different teams have different styles of defense where I I watch Toronto because they're going to make you uncomfortable. I watch Miami, they're going to make you uncomfortable. And they do it two separate ways. You know what I mean? And that to me is just like there's so many ways to skin the cat and it's just it's interesting. It's fun. Like you get to add so much to your bag and then at the same time you're just sitting there like I watch this stuff and it's like, so this could work this way, this could work that way, based on XY personnel. Let's maybe so Toronto's icing and then Miami switches 1 through 5. So if I'm playing Toronto and they're high pressure ice, let's maybe reverse right through. Like let's not even set the screen, pop it and get numbers on the backside. And then Miami they're switching. Let's try to slip some more, or let's try on a reversal, like show a zoom but dive, like split, turn that into a split, like little things like that. Like think of how you could beat that defense, and then defensively be like, oh, okay, we see going back to the Seth Curry thing. Oh, we see him coming off an Iverson. Let's just contain it. If we go under it and contain instead of chasing him over the top, he might get off an open three, but I think like they get so many downhill opportunities off of that that it might be better to go under it, or just down the ball, force the ball away from that action, make the pass tougher, and then that could just screw up the action from the jump. So it's like that constant battle. Like, okay, this is working for them. How could I stop it? Okay, like this isn't working. How could it get fixed? So it turns into more of a solution solving like brainstorm than I really dove in right there. I'm sorry.
You got excited.
I did.
Um, you know how like players growing up, like they have like NBA or just professional players that
Dwayne
they look
Wade.
up to.
Dwayne Wade.
Yeah, but I'm not saying as a player, like for as a coach, do you have a certain person that you look up to?
That I know personally, or
Could be it could be different people that you took certain stuff from. It could be someone in the NBA that's had a ton of success that you just
I'm
tend to
I'm gonna
look up
just keep it. I'm gonna keep it like from afar. Like I haven't met them yet, but like I love what they do. I love how they operate. I'm gonna say Nick Nurse. Love what he does. He's a great dude too. He does a ton in the community, and then on top of it, he's one of the most unique and flexible coaches, I guess. He does a ton of different things and it's just fun because he does not care what anybody thinks because it works and he wins. Eric Spolstra, um need I say more? He has carried the culture. He does an awesome job. He had rough rosters within the past decade and they have missed the playoffs once, twice,
to.
once, right? Once or twice maybe. Like after the big 3 era.
I think
Um
it might have been twice because they got two lottery picks. I don't know if they were traded though. I don't know.
I don't. I'll say two because I think we didn't make it. Dwayne Wade's last year.
Last year, I know you didn't make that.
Yeah, so I'm gonna say twice. We didn't make
You
the
got the
playoffs twice, and
you got
then
the go back. Yeah.
And then from afar. Should I say like I want to say Pop, but I also want to say
You could say as many people as you want.
Pop. I'm gonna just this is like those first two are the two main ones for me, but Pop, love how he operates, love what he does as a person, as a coach. Like he's just everything you hear, read about him, he's awesome. Coach K, Jim Boeheim, um, Jay Wright. I love Tibbs. Uh, he's tough,
Defensive
man.
mind, even
Um,
though they have a terrible defense this year so far.
it'll get fixed. Trust it. Um, I'll say Finch for Minnesota, just because he's doing it the way that I'm gonna have to do it. Uh, I'll stick to that. Huggins, uh, maybe.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot.
There's a lot of great coaches that you're able to pick up a ton of different things from, and
Yeah.
um, just to be able to like to be lucky enough to have the ability to watch all these games and just be able to pick up on all these things, read these articles, and just have the availability to it. I, I'm incredibly lucky.
On to the next one.
How many you got, dude?
It's basically your interview. That's what we'll call it.
We'll call this then.
Um, what are things that you have? I mean, yeah. What are things that you've taken from being a player to a coach? I know you already kind of touched on that.
I'm not a coach yet, man. Don't give me the
But
title.
like you're a coach mind.
Okay.
That you think like a coach. I think like a GM.
Okay. Yeah.
What are things like from player to like just talk about the transition because you already kind of brought that up. Talk about the transition from player after you were done playing to kind of buying into being a coach, wanting to be a coach.
It was easy for me because it was my way around the game. Um, I was rehabbing at the time. I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. I knew like coaching would have been a long term thing. I was still trying to figure out if I was going to play or not. So I was also a senior in high school, so college decision was coming up. Uh, a lot was happening. I lost basically like the love of my life. I thought like I couldn't play anymore. But kind of once I realized that playing long term probably wasn't going to work out for me, uh, it was easy. Like it was like, hey, I'm gonna go all in. I started giving guys workouts on one leg. People at the academy call me Coach Kester. Still to this day. um, I just like I went all in, watching film, talking the game. I would watch my team's film, talk to my coach. Shout out Coach Platt. Uh, shout out Jack. Um, they were there. They supported me. They gave me advice. Everyone at IMG, just the support system. Uh, they allowed me to really like dive into it, talk to people, ask questions, figure out what coaching's all about, and it's just it was easy just to be able to literally flip a switch and just like kind of go all in. It was my way to stick around what I love, and I can't be more grateful for the game and all that's given me. And now I get to make YouTube videos and a podcast because of it.
Well,
Yeah, I can't wait to like actually coach, man.
yeah.
I'm this is my outlet. This is
Only if you guys have seen the amount of notebooks and books read, notebooks gone through, writing notes, books read that this man has gone through. It's
Don't
insane.
don't don't hype me up, man. I'm just trying to get better. Trying to get better.
Well, that's all the questions that I have.
Did you really like you just hyped it up like you had like 15 more? I was ready to go.
I know. I don't know what else I could ask, man. You went on a 35-minute rant about what
You
you
asked some
watch.
good ones, man. I wasn't ready for some of those. Those were pretty good.
I told you I was gonna knock your socks off. Any closing words for the people? Basically, this is your interview. This is what you ask. Okay, you know what? Actually, I have one more. You ask everyone. I've never heard your answer for this. What is some advice to your 10-year-old self?
Dang.
You ask everyone this question.
I
So,
know I do. I ask it for a reason. My advice to my 10-year-old self. I'm not going to try to repeat advice that I will receive. So I'm not going to be like generic, like work hard. Dude, like, man, this is tough. I don't know why I do this to people.
mm, I'm getting you thinking today.
If you love what you do, you won't work a day in your life. Is that too generic?
If that's what you want to say.
All right, let me change that. If my 10-year-old self had some of these. Um,
We need to have a room tour on our YouTube page. Maybe you'll clean up for that.
Moments are what you live for. Find them, attack them, and make the best of them. There you go.
You want to elaborate on that? Like why you would tell yourself that?
I feel as a 10-year-old, I was very lazy. Um, I was a beached whale. I
Fun of yourself.
didn't I didn't know what it meant to have a like drive and a passion about really anything. That's why
Pokemon.
I thought that's why I thought if you love what you do would work. Like I thought that fit really well.
That's
Um, if you love what you do, you won't work a day in your life. So if you're telling my lazy 10-year-old self, hey, you're not going to work a day in your life if you love what you do, maybe find something you love and just go after it, which I think I've done a pretty decent job at. Hopefully it turns out well. But the moments are what you live for. Find them, attack them, make the best of them. Life in retrospect, when you connect the dots, it's moments, and you don't want to look back and regret any of them. Uh, it's gonna be a grind. It's gonna be ups, gonna be downs. We're all here for a short period of time, and I don't want to get like depresso a little bit, but like you got to make the most of it before you're gone. Like there's I'm a very hardworking, passion-driven individual, and I just want to impact the world, and I just don't think I could do it any way better than I could through the game. Uh, at the end of the day, I just want to make as many moments as I could, find them, and just impact people. This game's given me a ton. I just want to give back through the game to other people and impact, and that happens through moments. So my 10-year-old self hopefully would take that and run with it. Just at 10, maybe a moment means like, hey, like let's go down the street, let's hang out with Grammy, hang out with the fam, not try to avoid you. You little bully. You bullied me.
I did. I did.
Yeah. Uh,
I made him scared of me when I bit his eye. That's a story for another time, but I bit his eye
we'll,
when I was a
we'll
child.
save that. Hang out with Alex, hang out with mom, hang out with dad. Like at 10 years old, like hopefully I would take that and be like, hey, like with the explanation attached, you got to make the most of what you got. This this won't last. So enjoy it, embrace it, keep adding up those moments. And the more moments you have at the end of the day, that probably means that you lived a really good life. So life is moments. So there you go. Thank you. Did you like that? I thought about it way too long.
Okay, so now that I proved myself to the father, not anymore.
Dude, I birthed this thing. I
Now I'm
created
taking.
this from the ground up. We have 200 subscribers on YouTube, man. We
How many of them are from my Warriors video? I want to know why. That was my first video. I come in and I do stuff.
I come in and man,
I'm elected president.
you're gonna get an interview right back at you at some point. I hope you know this.
I know I am.
That was good
I
though.
didn't. I wasn't intending it for it to be an interview, but like I kind of just turned into that.
What was your intent? You were
I
asking
know.
interview questions.
I was like, you know what? Let's ask him about like what his philosophy was, and then you kind of just you're like, okay, personnel, and I was like, okay, let's just ask him about
Well,
why.
that's just my opinion about it. Some people are more like, "Hey, this is what I do. Follow."
I know,
I just don't think that that works. There's my philosophy, man. It's people driven.
but anyways, that was fun. You're welcome. Giving you the spotlight for a little bit until I take it back.
You have a spotlight, man. You don't even talk in half.
Always, I always have a spotlight. I'm a quiet person.
You're just hanging it. Let's throw out a long shot podcast little metaphor. I'm Duncan Robinson and you're Davis Reed.
I'm Davis. Oh, who's like that's what every podcast like for every podcast there's like the moderator's like a comedian type guy. That's what I feel like he is.
You think
Like
so?
he's like the funny guy.
Or
But
I'm
also
JJ Reddick and you're
questionable.
Tommy.
Same thing. I feel
How
like they're
many
the same
podcasts
people.
you all right, let's
I would want to be their friends.
100%.
Goats.
I hope they hear this. Let's get a collab.
Yeah. Yeah.
The people, if you hear this, let's
Spam them.
let's spam them. Let's get a collab. Let's talk to Davis Reed, Tommy Alter, JJ Reddick, and Duncan Robinson. Let's do it. Are you going to a live show in Florida?
Where is it?
They're having a live show in South Florida. A
When?
crossover between the long shot and Old Man and 3.
When's this?
I want to say December 18th.
You're here.
Wait. All right, we'll look at dates. Let's wrap this up now.
Okay.
You got this.
Okay. Well, thank you guys for listening. I believe when's the next video coming out?
Probably Saturday.
Okay. So next video will be coming out Saturday. We kind of foreshadowed what it's going to be. So please watch that. Watch all of our videos previously in this week. We had Marcus Carr. That's it.
And Player of the Week.
Player of the week. And yeah, that's about it. We hope you guys enjoyed.
Hope you guys watch some good hoops. There's a lot going on. So
College basketball starting too. One thing we ask is if you enjoyed this and thought you learned something from it, please share it and get Duncan Robinson and JJ Reddick.
all right, guys. Thanks for listening.
Yeah. We hope you guys enjoyed. See you next time.